Hi, my name's Amy Beath Johnson. I am a lymphy. I've had a primary lymphedema in my legs since age 5. I wanted to come on to talk to you about lymphedema self-care. I think it's super important and it's something I'm super passionate about. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have a Master of Information Studies and was a health librarian for a long time. I'm now a herbalist and a self-care strategist for people living with lymphedema. I help them create and manage daily routines of self-care so they can shift from surviving with lymphedema to thriving with it. I know how hard living with lymphedema means. I know how hard the daily struggle can be. I've lived through various ages and stages of life with lymphedema, having had it for almost 40 years now. And I've had my fair shares of ups and downs. I wasn't always thriving the way that I am now. Let's change my slides here. So what is lymphedema self-care? What is self-care? Let's go there first. Well, if you go by what's in social media or magazines or sold, self-care as spa parties, manicures, drinking wine while we're in the tub with some bubbles, is shown to be an indulgence, something that you do on the weekend, like self-care Saturday, rather than a daily necessity. Self-care literally means the care of yourself. Like this diagram here. It encompasses all these different elements. Every action you take, every thought you make, affects you in multiple ways, for better or for worse. You have an emotional, physical, and mental sides to yourself. And the rituals of sleep, diet, what we eat, lifestyle, skincare, managing our stress, managing our finances, having social time with friends, movement, creative time, reading time, learning a new skill or a new hobby, and helping out in our community. That's all part of self-care. That's part of caring for yourself. It's what we do all day long. It's not indulgent. It's a necessity, a necessary part of our everyday. It's so necessary, in fact, that we can't serve others when we don't fill up our own cup first. When we do that on a day-to-day basis, it just leads to burnout. And it leads to physical disease that gets worse and worse. Because we're not taking care of ourselves. Our body needs our loving care every day. Self-care is my passion. I believe it's something that everyone can embrace. I also think it's unique to you and your life with lymphedema. We all experience lymphedema differently, and we're at different stages of acceptance and maintenance with it too. We all have different lifestyles and interests, and so it can be really fun for me to work with clients and help them design a self-care routine that's sacred and joyful and helps them manage their lymphedema in a way that makes sense to them. I want to tell you a story. My self-care wasn't always very good. I thought it was at the time, but I realized looking back now that I was really doing the bare minimum so they could get on with living. I didn't want my lymphedema to be a big part of my life, so I didn't give it much time. I put on my compression in the morning. I would attend to any dry cuts or scrapes or things like that with some moisturizer. Other than that, and exercise, I hid it, I ignored it. I pretended it wasn't there so I could get on with my day and do the things that I wanted to do. Well, our bodies are always listening to us. And when we don't listen to our body's whispers, then we have to listen to the screams. I had a breaking point in my 30s, which I now call my awakening moment. When I was caring for my 2 daughters who were under 2, I was sleep deprived. I was really starting to struggle with pain and heaviness. that had built up in my body from getting recurrent cellulitis infections. My legs were getting bigger and bigger, and my mobility was decreasing. I didn't like the look of what my life was like in front of me. At this point, I knew deep down something had to change. I knew I had to fill up my own cup and prioritize my health more now than I was. But how? And what did I need to do differently? There must be more that I could do beyond wearing good compression and making sure my skin was clean, free of bug bites and cracks. But what was it? I was on a quest. I began a quest to find out what other lymphies who were thriving with it were doing, as well as other health professionals, to see if they had a different approach to lymphedema care. I began to embrace different approaches to my daily self-care, and that was a game changer for me. And it was how I began to take my power back. I felt so sad before looking at my life with lymphedema. And as I began to incorporate self-care, I began to feel joyful again. I really began to take my power back because I was now in the driver's seat. I was listening to my body, I was nourishing myself, and I was really approaching my health with curiosity, kindness, and love. I began to focus less on treating my disease and treating the whole person with the disease. But life is not linear, and neither is healing. I never would have thought I could go from being a young child with lymphedema just in a small part of my foot on my left leg to being bilateral and reaching a breaking point in my 30s to now where I am, where my legs are healthier now than I was in my 20s. You never know where you can get to until you're willing to step out of your comfort zone and try something new. So what is lymphedema self-care? Well, health is something that I believe is, I'll read you this quote because it's really good. It says, health is not just being disease-free. Health is when every cell in your body is humming with joy. I love that quote. It really captures the essence of what I'm trying to get across. It's not just that you're making your symptoms going away, that health really is making your whole body hum with joy, making it happy, believing that it can thrive, helping it heal. Our bodies are wise and intelligent beings. Health and wellness depend on maintaining that balance between mind, body, and spirit. When we look at lymphedema self-care from this place of finding balance and the goal of making our cells hum with joy, you shift away from reacting to your symptoms and instead work more on finding and restoring balance within. You also see yourself as a whole being. You look at it a holistic lens and help you find that balance, reminding us to find joy, making time for self-care, and treating all parts of our life as sacred and special. Because lymphedema really is a whole body experience. It's not just a physical one or an emotional one or a mental one. It's all together. Sometimes our Western medical care really approaches lymphedema self-care from just a physical standpoint of put on some compression, you'll be fine. And there's so much more to it than that. It really affects our mental or emotional or social well-being. Before we go into self-care, I want to take a moment and show you what I have learned to be the 5 primary roles of the lymphatic system. We're sometimes told that our lymphatic system is really just our trash removal system, but it's so much more than that. And it's really magical once you realize all of the things that it does within your body. It gave me a whole different appreciation of living with lymphedema, but also what my lymph system does for me every day. It was through my herbalist and Ayurvedic lens that I learned that our lymph system can have all these different roles. In Ayurveda, they view the body as being made up of 7 different tissue layers. The first and most important layer is our rasa, our lymph. It's our fluids of our body. Ayurveda teaches us that the health of the rasa, of our lymph, determines the health of all the other tissues, that it feeds all the other ones that come after it, because water is life and it's essential for life. I nearly fell off my chair when I read this, that they think the lymph system is the most important system. If you look at our lymph through the lens of nature, it helps you see how it can be a little bit more obvious as one of the most important parts of the body. It's no accident that the earth is 70% water, and so are we. It's by design. Without water, our body couldn't absorb oxygen and transport it through our blood. Without water, our blood would be merely a bunch of sticky cells, unable to flow. We could not taste nor digest food, just get stuck in our throats, unable to move. We could not eliminate our daily waste. We'd be merely a pile of dust, and so would everything else on earth. Water is life. So these different roles that I wanted to highlight in the lymph system, so that you can think beyond that our lymph system is our trash removal system, is it nourishes our body. One of the primary roles of the lymph is to carry nourishing, living, structured water to every single one of our cells. Every single cell in our body has water in it and depends on the lymph to deliver that water and fat-soluble nutrients to them. A role we might be more familiar with is our detoxifying role. We know that it removes the waste. Every day, our body makes waste, from things we ingest to that our body's kind of done with the foods. It's taken what it needs out of it and exports the rest out our digestive tract. We also make cellular waste every day. 330 billion cells are replaced every day inside us, which is actually only equivalent to just 1% of our cells. So it's a really small part. But yeah, every day we have cellular waste as well as emotional waste, physical waste, and energetic waste. The third role it has is flow. The lymph system is vast. It has a vast and expansive network within our body. It touches every cell within our body. In order to get there, it needs to move. It needs to keep that river flowing to keep it clean. So movement is essential. It moves in many different ways. Intrinsically, it has gentle pumping motions that move the lymph along the vessels all day long. It has like gentle rhythmic motions that it can move along. And it's actually in response to our breath, which is really neat. So they kind of work rhythmically together. But it also, our lymph can be moved by our muscles. It's really by moving our body, contracting our muscles, taking deep diaphragmatic breaths, can help move that river and help it flush and flow and keep it clean. Because it takes up our entire, not takes up, but it's expansive in our entire body. It also is our immune highway. The vastness of our lymph system, stretching through every tissue of the body, means it's a great pathway for our immune cells to travel on in order to protect us. Our lymph nodes are like little immune stations throughout the body. They trap and destroy pathogens. Think of how your lymph nodes get swollen in your neck when you get a cold, right? And they're busy fighting off the pathogens in order to help the body heal. 70% of our lymphatic tissue is in our gut, and a big part of our gut is where our immune system resides. Its primary role here is to neutralize anything that we have ingested that may be harmful for the body. And so it's really gone that inspector role. It's checking over everything to make sure what we've taken in is safe for the rest of our body to absorb before it moves it through its vast networks. The last one is something that you probably haven't heard of before, but if you have, I think that's awesome. our our waters of our body is a keeper of our emotions. If you remember a funny quote from Disney, from Frozen, Olaf says, water holds memory. And he's right. In Ayurveda, water is the keeper of our emotional memory. It's also how we express ourselves and how we hold our thoughts and our memories. Our body digests those emotional experiences every day when we sleep at night. It's part of its detoxification process, as well as as well as digesting our food too, and taking out the trash. That's why we need to go pee and poo when we wake up in the morning, why we sweat at night sometimes, and it's our body detoxifying. Pretty neat, eh? When we think of those different roles. Now, I'm going to touch a little bit more on Ayurveda, but I'm really just scratching the surface here. Ayurveda is an ancient 5,000-year-old system of healing that is very profound and very expansive. And I'm really just scratching the surface here. But I want to tell you a little bit more about the elements. In the ancient system of healing of Ayurveda, everything is made up of elements, and they have 5 elements, which actually correspond to our fingers too. So we have ether, which is space. We've got air. We've got fire. We have water, which is our ring finger, and we have earth, which is our pinky. And each one of those energies, or each one of those elements, have energies to them. Every healing tradition that I've come across, from Ayurveda to traditional Chinese medicine to herbalism, has a set of principles of self-care that are designed to help people bring their bodies back into balance with nature. Because all those elements of nature are in nature, but they're also inside of us. They recognize that we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, that what happens within us also happens within nature. And we can get out of balance through internal and external environmental factors by what we eat, what we think, how we breathe, how we move, emotional, energetic relationships, energy we absorb from others through interactions, the impact of the seasons. They all causes shifts in our body, and it's normal for our body to ebb and flow. And so these self-care practices are to bring our body back into balance. It really comes down to that everything has energy in it, from our emotions to our foods we eat to the experiences we have and more. If you don't believe this, I want you to think about this for 1 second. Think about how you feel in your body when you're angry versus how you feel when you're happy. Just think about that for a minute. Or think about, like, how does your body feel on a cold wintry day versus a warm sunny day? We're different, aren't we? Think about how you feel after you've eaten something fresh and juicy, like a bowl of berries, versus when you've eaten some crunchy crackers. One is wet and cooling, and the other is dry and rough. They have different qualities. And so when we eat them, we're consuming those qualities. Those qualities become part of our energetic makeup. And so that becomes a part of us. Now we're back to lymphatic self-care after that little detour into learning about Ayurveda. But I wanted to take you there so that you could really see how I've crafted a framework of lymphatic self-care by using elements of nature, understanding the energies that we have within us and within nature, and how you can really use that holistic framework that I was showing a couple slides before to really look at your lymphedema in a different way. So tell me, we all go through different stages of acceptance with our lymphedema throughout our lives, and it can ebb and flow in response to those energetic shifts we're experiencing. And so our self-acceptance of our lymphedema gets impacted or impacts how we care for ourselves throughout these ebbs and flows too. So tell me which of these resonates with you right now. Do you feel that caring for your lymphedema is a chore and it's hard to stay motivated? Do you feel overwhelmed by the options of things that you can do and you're not really sure what's working? Or do you consistently manage your swelling with compression, exercise, and want to know what more you can do for your health to improve your swelling and your energy levels, maybe reduce your pain or reduce the impact that lymphedema has on your life? Or maybe you don't know about the different self-care strategies like I didn't years ago. But that's why I'm here, to tell you more about it. Yeah, so if you don't know about the self-care strategies, that's okay. I was there once too. And there's definitely stuff you can do beyond compression, and you might be wanting to learn more. And that's great. So some of the common challenges we can face with lymphedema when you really look at it from a holistic lens of physical, emotional, and social is some of the stuff I've got shown here. This was a really interesting thing to put together after I'd done a survey of my newsletter subscribers last year. And I wanted them to tell me more about what are some of the emotional, physical, and social challenges that they face with lymphedema. And I found this so fascinating. Let's look at one of the challenges and how it overlaps and impacts our self-care. The top emotional challenge that Lymphes noted was body dysmorphia, at almost 64% of respondents checking this off. Body dysmorphia can be defined simply as when we emotionally reject our physical body, when we disassociate from it, and we almost like block it off energetically. And it can lead to feelings of body shaming. It can lead to depression, can lead to lack of self-worth. And when we see ourselves as unworthy of being or of taking up space, we may not take care of our limbs the same way we would if we were in an emotional state of self-love and self-acceptance. So you can see how that emotional challenge could maybe translate into an impact on your social well-being, onto your physical well-being. So having a feeling of body dysmorphia might affect some of our physical challenges. Let's think about this for a minute. So the emotional challenge of feeling body dysmorphia might affect some of the physical challenges of lymphedema, like swelling and heaviness, pain, inflammation, or the social challenges of feeling invisible, struggling to adapt to work, wondering how to socialize with your friends without feeling like you're making your lymphedema even worse. Now, think about how any of those social and physical challenges can also contribute to feelings of body dysmorphia. It's all interconnected. Lymphedema really is a whole body experience. So as a holistic self-care coach and a herbalist, here's an example of how I would take an issue of swelling. and look at it with a client from a holistic self-care perspective. Here's an example of how I take an issue of swelling, which is a physical challenge, and that we face with lymphedema, and look at it from a holistic self-care perspective. So this challenge can affect us physically, emotionally, and socially. And we can approach the self-care from a holistic perspective. We can look at how can we address the symptoms as well as the root cause of the swelling? How can we support our lymphatic system to do all those different roles that it needs to do? My approach would be integrative, be supporting what you're already currently doing. In this picture, I show one of the ways I support my swelling is with knee braces at times when I've got swelling around my knees, but I always wear compression, and I wear really good quality compression to help me maintain that swelling, and so it doesn't get out of control. Our skin is elastic, and so if we don't have some sort of compression against it, that fluid will cause our skin to stretch and expand over time. So having an integrative approach, I think, is really important to what you're going to do. And compression is a really key part of maintaining that swelling. So from a holistic perspective, other things that I might suggest to a client that I'm working with are, we would look at diet and lifestyle self-care. And that's where the self-care really shines, is looking at those kind of aspects that you can impact. In Ayurveda, they really believe all disease begins in the gut, but they also believe that food is medicine and medicine is food. It's one of our first medicines that we should be looking at, is food and water. And how can we support our body in healing? And by providing it good quality food and good quality water. Another saying that I really like from Ayurveda is that when diet is right, medicine is of little need. When diet is wrong, medicine is of little use. Meaning that herbal support and self-care are really gentle practices. You're not going to see a massive effect in a short period of time. It's something that's almost like filling up a piggy bank. You're just going to see a gradual improvement over time, or really small steps. And so a bigger way to have an impact on your overall body is through diet and lifestyle. So some of the self-care rituals that could positively impact swelling could be getting the lymph flowing. We know that flow is a really important part of one of its primary roles. And so it could be working with the client to help them learn a combination of practices such as dry brushing, encouraging walking or yoga, or some sort of movement that really aligns with them. Because it's not necessarily that there's going to be, say, specific exercises that are going to be best for everyone. It's really finding it, I believe, of finding a type of movement that you're going to do consistently, because it's that consistency that really makes a difference. We look at ways to reduce stress, because when you reduce stress, you reduce inflammation, in which leads to reduced swelling. You can't bring healing to a stressed out nervous system very well. You really got to find a way to calm that nervous system, really encourage the body to get out of fight and flight, and more into our rest and digest. Because the rest and digest phase is when our parasympathetic nervous system is turned on, and that's when our body really can maximize that flow, that detoxification process, that immune highway support, and really get the lymph flowing and glowing. We'd also look at finding some foods, and finding out what the triggers are for them and their lifestyle and their diet, and looking at what are some foods that are anti-inflammatory that we could add to their routine, but also taking out those foods that are causing inflammation. And what causes inflammation for one person might be different for another person, because we're all made up of a different energetic balance. And so to say like there's one specific thing that is going to work for everyone, if you do this one thing, it's going to work. In some cases with lymphedema, because we've got imbalances with our water energy, there are some commonalities, but there also are some differences. For example, and that's something that you would find out by working with someone like me as a herbalist or a self-care strategist, and we could go through and figure out what are some of the foods that are causing inflammation for you, and what are some of the foods that we could add in, like this hibiscus tea, which is lovely for helping the lymph flow, helping cleanse the liver. It's nice and cooling, so it can be very supportive in the summertime to cool our bodies down. We tend to all get hot and swell, which is not so great in this when you've got lymphedema. I'd also look at their current compression routine. What if they got in terms of stockings, daytime, nighttime, things like that, and encourage them to seek solutions with their OT or their PT and their fitter so that they can really maximize the benefit of having high quality compression, because that's really going to help them to maintain their swelling. We would look at herbal medicine support. What are some teas and tinctures that can be supportive? Body oil is a really great one, because our skin is one of our largest detoxification organs in the body. It's how our body moves things out through our skin, and why we get rashes and infections and things like that. It's our body giving us messages of what's going on inside. So using things like body oils with some lymph-loving plants in it can be really supportive to our health. And it's a really lovely, nourishing, loving practice that you can do for yourself. It really gives you that time to connect with yourself, to touch your skin, give yourself that nervous system support that your body gets through self-touch. It can be really calming and relaxing. It's also a great way to just check in with your skin and check in with your body and see how it's feeling. When we do those practices on a regular basis, that's really where the magic comes in, because you pick up on the nuances that are going on in your body of like, oh, this feels tight today, or oh, this texture's really changed today, or oh, this is hot today. And you can pick up on those things before it becomes something that your body's got to scream to you about. You're picking up on those whispers when you give your body time and you touch yourself. You have tea, you notice how your energy is, you notice, hey, I'm feeling really hot today. Things like that. You're starting to really listen and kind of listen to those body messages and tap into your intuition. Another thing we do is looking at sleep. Is I would help them design a really lovely, nourishing sleep routine. Sleep is like one of the best medicines out there. It's free and it's so overrated or underrated. I mean, it's so helpful for us with lymphedema, especially when you think about that when we sleep, that's when our big organs like our liver, our kidneys, our spleen, our big lymphatic organs detoxify and clean up all that cellular waste, clean up all the food waste, and get everything ready so that when we wake up, it can get rid of that waste. And it's like taking the trash out every day. Like, do you really want to go into the next day like holding on to yesterday's trash? That's kind of what we're doing when we don't give ourselves time to sleep properly. And how that shows up for you the next day is you may feel a little bit puffy. You may feel a little bit tired. You may feel a little bit swollen, or you may feel a little bit hot. Like, I know when I stay up too late that the next day I will feel a little bit puffy, but I also feel a little bit warm. Or you might be irritable or things like that. And that's your body hasn't had that time to really detoxify properly. It's like its reset button, and it's so helpful and supportive and easy to implement with some support. Not everybody can have like a great sleep, especially if we've got pain and inflammation going on that can really disrupt our sleep. You might have some emotional challenges going on as well, a lot of stress that make it hard to tap into that deep sleep. And so we go through some of the different tools and techniques and things to help set your body up for sleep. There's lots you can do. So I hope this was helpful for you today to learn all the different holistic ways that you can tap into your self-care and build yourself a self-care routine. The key really is consistency in building that self-care routine so that you will follow it, you will enjoy it, and that it speaks to you is really important. I love using the framework of Ayurveda and Herbalism to teach other folks with lymphedema how to create a strong, consistent self-care routine. Ayurveda translates as the science of self or the science of life. It's really designed to be a system of self-care, and it builds in daily routines for us, nighttime routines and seasonal routines to help us respond to those energetic shifts that we can experience. And I really love that about that. It helps us shift from just reacting to kind of we're just going to go along. And then when we get like a flare up or symptom, like react to it. And that's important because you want to stop what's happening. But when you have a really good, solid daily self-care routine, it helps you build in some proactive things of just like, okay, summer's coming. I know I always get hot in the summer. What are some things I can do for my body to prepare for that? So you're not kind of left like when it's a hot day, not knowing what to do. You've kind of got some foresight as to how to support yourself. Think of ways you can cool down. Think of ways you can reduce your swelling or things like that. So it really helps you be proactive because you're really seeing things from a seasonal lens and knowing what's coming. And I really love that about it. It's really supportive and really helpful. So one of the things I've designed for you guys as a freebie to help people learn a little bit more about self-care and help them learn about, what's working for themselves and what's not, is I've designed a self-care journal. Whoops. Yeah, I designed this Lymphy self-care journal that includes 7 days of tracking your habits with daily and evening reflections and rituals. And it is really lovely. It's something that I've been using to track my habits for a really long time, and I found it really supportive. And so I put it together in a guide because I wanted to offer it to you guys to help you support your self-care. I believe that tracking our habits really matters. And I'm going to give some quotes here from James Clear, who's an author of an awesome book called Atomic Habits that I really loved. He believes that habit tracking is powerful for 3 key reasons. A tracker or journal creates a visual cue that can both be a record of what you are doing and a reminder to take action and keep going. It's really motivating to see your progress. And it feels satisfying to record your successes as they're happening. The journal has built-in gratitude sections every day to help you reflect on your day and what went well for you. And it could be as simple as, I didn't spill coffee on my shirt. I'm grateful for that. or the cat didn't rip my compression stockings. Like sometimes it's a stretch on some days, and other days it's going to be like something really big that you're going to want to write down, and you're going to want to be excited to record that. It's going to be motivating to really record those successes as they're happening for you. And it helps keep you motivated when you see you recording those things and you're recording day to day. There's also a weekly section, so you can go back and kind of write the highlights of each day on it. So you can kind of see like, were there patterns? Where did you make progress? There's in this in this thing here, the spider web of life is a really cool tool that I came up with as well to help you kind of see what areas of your life that are doing okay and what areas are in need of support. And then you do it again at the end of the week, and you sort of see, did anything shift? Did anything change for you? And it's a really great tool. I hope that you enjoy that. And hop on over to our website and you can download it for free when you sign up for our mailing list. And it's there to support you. Thank you so much for your time today. Some ways to get in touch with me and follow along is I'm on Instagram at lymph.well, and my email is there and my website is there. And that's where you can go and download the freebie. And it's just lymphwell.life. Thanks so much.